But I want to read something right now that really struck out. In like the middle of your book, you said, a grown-up knows the hardest thing to do is also the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, you know...
Always?
They know that that is often the case. It's not always,
Yeah.
but how many, you know, change is hard, and yet it's usually right. I mean, a lot of people are in relationships that they shouldn't get out, a lot of people are in relationships that they should get out of,
Right.
and that's hard to do. A lot of people are, too heavy or not exercising, and it's hard to lose weight, it's hard to exercise, but it's the right thing to do.
But what do you say to those people who are like stuck in this relationship or marriage or even friendship, and how do you know when is the right time to cut somebody off?
I mean, I get into that a lot in my book, but here's the short answer. The short answer is I always tell people that things either add, take away, or are sort of neutral in your life. If somebody is taking away more often, then it's time to get out, or consider getting out. If they're adding more often, then probably it's okay. And if it's neutral, then it's completely up to you.
But what about like a best friend or a family member or a parent? When is the right time to cut them off?
Well, it's the same question. If it's a family member and it's somebody who you're going to be seeing because you can't get out of it,
right,
then you want to minimize contact.
How has this book changed you?
I would say this book has changed me because I've been in this business for 20 years and I've had a lot of challenges in my own life and I've worked on myself a lot. And it really helped me see sort of the culmination of 20 years of knowledge and work. And it's only in this skinny book. But so in that way it changed me. It also changed me because I told you all that I had been raised with appearance issues. And
right.
What did the publisher do? They put a giant me on the cover. I had to really deal with that. I had to sit and put it up in my office and look at that big giant me and say, it's okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But that was hard for me. That changed me. And so it made me sort of embrace, the big face.
Has it changed the way you parent? Because you have two teenagers and, you're teaching them how to be a grown-up now.
Yes. It's funny that you brought that up because I've actually just started doing parenting workshops that connect to this book called The 10 Things Every Parent Needs to Know to Raise a Successful Adult. And so, yes, what it's done to me is make me concentrate on these 10 areas and say to myself, okay, my kids are doing really well in these and not so well in those, and trying to sort of step up my game where they need the game stepped up.
So right now I'm going to ask you some fan questions. And when you are, say, in your office and you are, like a relationship expert and you're doing some therapy with a couple, how does that change when you have like TV cameras on you? Like, is it the same therapy and advice that you'd be giving, or is it a little played up for cameras? Or?
For me, it doesn't change at all.
Really?
I mean, I literally ignore the camera. I'm doing whatever I would do in my office. So what you see on TV is what is real. What I think is different about the cameras is for the other person. Some people are suddenly more guarded when there's cameras there, so they're not really sharing information like they would if they were in the privacy of my office, because they don't want the whole world to know every secret. And other people cannot stop themselves. They're literally so uncomfortable. They're spewing details that they would never want the public to know, but they can't help themselves.
But it makes great TV, right?
It does make good TV.
Okay. Now, what are some of your most memorable television experiences?
I would say working with Kathy Griffin was extraordinarily memorable. She gave me a run for my money. I mean, some of it got cut out, but she was a tough customer and it was hard to sell her. So that was kind of entertaining. And then I would say some of my other challenging stuff is being on the Today Show. I mean, just literally being on the Today Show I watched the Today Show. So the first time I went on, I was a nervous wreck. And I don't get nervous that easily because I always try and pretend that the camera's not there. But passing Matt Lauer in the hallway and sitting across from Ann Curry, that was stressful.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Why do you think we make decisions based on fear?
I always say fear is a great motivator. And so it can make you make decisions in a positive way. Like if you think you're going to die, then you might lose weight or drive more carefully, so it motivates you in that way. But people also make decisions out of fear because when you're afraid, you can't think clearly. So that fear starts to drive your decisions. And what I always tell people is you have to calm down. You have to get to a place when you're not scared, or your decisions are not going to be as good as they would be.
How do we calm down, though?
I mean, it's different for different people. Sometimes it takes talking to a counselor. Sometimes it's just talking to a friend. Sometimes it's zoning out and watching, trash TV.
Okay.
Things like that.
Now, this is an interesting question. Why do you think men cheat?
I always say that, first of all, women cheat too a lot.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to tell you, women cheat. It's just that they don't tend to get caught as often, and I'm not totally sure why that is. But I think people cheat for two reasons. One, because it is their moral way. They're willing to do it. And the second is they have the opportunity. People who work at home and never leave don't cheat as much as people who are out interacting with people on a regular basis.
Well, do you think some people cheat because they're trying to figure out the rest of their life and hide something that's going on? Like they're really unhappy in a circumstance, so it's their way of...
I think cheating is an escape.
Okay.
It's like I'm miserable in my relationship and you make me angry and I think you put your dirty socks on the floor too often or you nag at me all the time. But this person doesn't nag at me at all. I don't even have to see this person's dirty socks.
Right.
So it's a great escape from what you're in.
Do you think women cheat for the same reason?
No, I think men typically cheat because they want to feel important and adored and for sex. And I think women cheat because there's something missing emotionally. So their husband or boyfriend is not giving them flowers and this guy is, or they're not saying they're pretty anymore and this guy is.
What about gay men? Why do you think gay men cheat?
I mean, I have to tell you, I think that there's a lifestyle there. I think that it's more accepted in the gay community. At least that's what I'm told on a regular basis, but I don't think that's the reason. I think ultimately the reason is one of those ones I just mentioned. It's a mixed bag actually in that group of people from what I've talked to. The people that I've talked to tell me that it's either because they just aren't getting it at home in the same way, or they're not feeling appreciated and worshipped enough, and so they want to go out and get it elsewhere.
Well, gay, straight, male, female,
Right.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, cheating's cheating, but do you think they really want to get caught so they can end their relationship?
No. Oh, no. I don't think people want to get caught.
Do you think it's a selfish decision?
I think that they are looking for an outlet, they're looking for an escape, and they're hoping they don't get caught.
Okay.
I've never met a cheater that was grateful to get caught on the front end. Later, they might look back and say, you know what, we shouldn't have been together anyway, or it enabled us to work through our problems. But at the very beginning, most people are just freaked out that they got busted. Great
questions. Thank you. Yeah. Here's the last fan question. Why do you think people link happiness with success?
You know, it's really funny. I've done a lot of work in companies as well, and what I found is that money doesn't equal happiness. It's all the other little things, and so when people say that success equals happiness, it really isn't ultimately about the money for everyone. Now, some people, they're just happy making the money, but there's something about feeling powerful, feeling comfortable. People who are successful don't have to worry about paying the rent. That makes people happy. People who are successful tend to draw in more friends and have an easier time getting relationships. And so I think it's really those things, but they call it success.
Okay, but what about somebody who's not going to make $100,000 or just makes $30,000? How do you think they define happiness?
That person, I think, is feeling happy because they're accomplishing what it is that they've wanted.
Okay.
And so I guess what I'm saying
because
is...
we live in Los Angeles. So like
it's not only about money. I didn't mean about money. What I meant is it isn't about the success itself. It's about the benefits you get from success, whether it's money, whether it's self-satisfaction, whether it's more friends, whether it's a fancier office, whatever it is, it's those things individually that make a person happy.
Do you think that they're having more friends because they're a success? I mean, do you think because people want a piece of that? I mean, I'm only saying that because we do live in LA, and I feel like everybody wants a piece of what you're doing.
I think that does exist,
right?
But I don't think that's all of it. I think that people who are successful make more friends because they feel good about themselves. There's definitely a link between when you feel good about yourself, it's easier to meet people, whether it's dating or friendships. And when you're successful, you feel good.
Well, I want to let everyone know you can actually take a mini version of Stacy's quiz if you want to see how much of a grown-up you are on stacykaiser.com. You can find out all the great stuff that Stacy's doing, see her media clips, and even contact her and her people. So go to stacykaiser.com, just look below, or you can follow her on Twitter. And thank you so much for watching with Josh.com. Stacy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
This was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked it.